thanks a lot, Candice, for the nice presentation. So I should be able to share my slides, I think. Get for confirmation from Albert Einstein that I think it makes it clear what's the relation between machines and humans, and how this is what I think should be artificial intelligence as well. So computer has some advantages with respect to us. So they are capable of doing some certain activities better than us. So they are fast, they are accurate, but they are stupid. Okay. So what we have as a difference is that we are slow, so they can do computations faster than us. We are much more inaccurate, but we are brilliant. So the idea is that together we can be powerful beyond imagination. So this is what I think it's a very important message. So being able to build artificial intelligence, human-centered artificial intelligence, to tackle the main societal challenges that are in front of us. And we can address them only, I think, with the aid of these technologies, of course, by putting our, let's say, humanization on that. So following on what also Francesca presented, I will show you two examples of societal challenges that are very important and that they have become even more important with the COVID pandemics. So the first one is disinformation and fake news. So this is obviously an issue that's something which is clearly in front of us. We have seen many different examples of fake news and disinformation spread online. So there is the way to use AI technologies to detect and to moderate such harmful content, such as deleting this content, reducing its visibility, and trying to promote content from verified sources. So why do you need first these AI technologies for doing that? Because of course we as humans are more than able to do this. So, because actually we cannot scale up to the number of information that are posted every day on the web. So we need some help on that. Of course, there are issues that are those that has been also underlined in Francesca's talk. The first one is that, of course, these technologies can make errors, so they are not perfect. We should be fully aware of that. So they can classify, for instance, fake news. I'm mainly working on text, so usually I'm biased on that, and I always provide examples on text. So if there is a message which is posted on social networks with a high degree of irony, well, it's highly probable that this machine will not be able to say this is an ironic message, but they can classify erroneously. Then there can be algorithmic biases. So there can be bias in the data that these technologies are processing, in the algorithm itself as it is conceived. That is why I fully support the fact that developers should be also trained, should be made aware of the fact that the way they write their programs can be biased. And this bias then is of course mirrored in the results of these technologies. And then there is the usual suspect, so the transparency, explainability of these decisions, because if we point out that a certain piece of content is disinformation, and for instance we decide to automatically delete it, okay, well, we should be quite sure about that. We should be able to explain why we classified it as disinformation. Why we need to explain? Because actually we are, in a way, violating the right to freedom of expression if we go back to our fundamental values, okay? So if we delete a content of information, we need to explain why we did that. So there are a number of issues in this scenario, like the fact that we should ideally need human final validation about the decision that is proposed by the AI. The fact that there is this right to freedom of expression, which should be always be taken into account, and also which are the authorities which may decide what to delete, what to promote. Okay? Because these are algorithms, but these algorithms are put in place by different institutions, by private companies, and so on. So who has the authority to decide which content can be deleted or not? So if we go to the next one, there is hate speech, is another scenario which I think it's very important. We have a number of examples in front of us about the fact that identifying automatically this kind of content would be very valuable. So identifying and classifying also this kind of content is important, like for instance misogyny, racism, sexism. And here I think it's also an example where gender diversity is very important in promoting this kind of research. Why we need that? Again, same reason as for disinformation. So we need that because actually we cannot scale with the number of messages that are posted everywhere on the main social networks, for instance, containing hate speech. We cannot just check them manually, each of them. The issues are many. So first, when we tackle a problem like this one, which is important, which is a high impact on the society, we need to define what is the task we want to tackle. So what is hate speech? So how we define this kind of content in order to detect it, because we should tell the machine what we mean by hate speech, not only by examples. Then, of course, there could be errors, as I said before. I mean, this is an issue also for this kind of scenario, also because it implies to work with the teenagers' jargon, which is not straightforward to be understood. We need to take into account emoticons, for instance, and many other elements. Biases are always there, so it's still there, and transparency as well. Here it is even more, sensible, because here you have that you say that something is hate speech. It may involve, let's say, young people, teenagers, so you should be quite certain about what you are saying. So if you are really pointing and saying this is a problematic post, for instance. And again, here there are also issues like privacy. So when there are hate speech issues on, for instance, messages like private chats, so how is the privacy? Where we can go, okay, on that? The fact of having the non-discrimination. So all these examples, these two examples, I think illustrate well two societal challenges that are in front of us, that are here now, that we should tackle, and actually that we can tackle by means of human-centered AI. And we should always keep an eye on our values and on the ethical challenges that these raise, because all these benefits that we can gain with AI technologies has a price in a certain sense. So we need to decide where is the compromise when we take it. And I want to underline also that these two applications are two applications which are multidisciplinary. This is also very important. So AI is no more only mathematics and computer science. AI is many other disciplines all together, and the importance of this discipline should be recognized everywhere, and we should also really underline the importance of these other disciplines because they have a huge impact on the technologies we are developing. And I conclude with just a small overview on what is my own work, my own research, which is artificial argumentation. By argumentation, I mean the way we discuss with each other, the way we propose arguments in natural language. Every time we discuss, we are argumenting, okay? And having this argumentation for and with humans. So there are a number of topics let's say, I care a lot about. I want to just briefly present them. So the collective deliberation and policy making, how to enhance that, how to enhance the participation of people in this collective deliberation by means also of AI technologies. The fact that just identifying disinformation and hate speech is not enough. if we want to counter this kind of content, we cannot just say this is disinformation, this is hate speech, because of course people that are involved, they can say, okay, yes, but then they actually don't care. We need in a way to convince them that this is not the good way, that this is a fake information, we should explain why. And this can be done through counter-argumentation, counter-narratives that we can generate in order to make them change their own opinion. And then there is also propaganda detection, which is another main topic. I apply it in political debates, so it's also an interesting, let's say, platform to try to test these technologies. It can be applied also to newspapers, for instance. And then, of course, there is, again, explainable AI applied to medicine, which is always a topic of main interest. And I think I will conclude here.